On Mother's Day, my daughter handed me a card. She grinned like a little conspirator, urging me to read it aloud. I unfolded it, expecting the usual scribbles of love. Instead, I read, "Roses are red, violets are blue, you are a heavy burden, nobody wants you here." The room erupted with laughter. My husband's booming first, then the awkward giggles of in-laws, even the hesitant chuckle from my daughter, who didn't fully understand the cruelty she'd just been used for. I didn't laugh. I folded the card with steady fingers, placed it back on the table, and smiled faintly. They mistook my silence for weakness. They always did. But that was the moment I decided. I remember the first time I met David, my husband. He was charming, disarming, a man who made promises like he was reciting scripture. I was young enough to believe him. We built a house, filled it with photographs, routines, laughter that used to be real. Then the air changed. The late nights, the whispered phone calls in the garage, the way he flinched when my hand brushed his, the perfume that wasn't mine, faint but undeniable. A lipstick stain once, poorly hidden on his collar. He lied with too much detail, the way liars always do. It wasn't one thing. It was 100 little needles, pricking until I finally bled truth. I caught him. Not with rage, not with screaming. No, I watched. I collected. Screenshots of texts, bank statements, transfers to a woman he labeled in his contacts as plumber. Clever, but not clever enough. I didn't confront him, not right away. Confrontation is for the desperate, the powerless. I was neither. I went quiet. I smiled more, cooked his favorite meals, kissed him goodnight. He thought he'd won. He thought I was blind. That made him sloppy. And while he was busy parading his mistress around during business trips, I was busy too. I met with lawyers. I learned about hidden accounts, about how infidelity tilts divorce proceedings. I gathered every piece of evidence like pearls on a string. I spoke softly, listened carefully, played the role of the oblivious wife. But the entire time, I was sharpening the knife. The Mother's Day card was his masterpiece of cruelty, his attempt to humiliate me in front of everyone. He wanted me to break. Instead, he handed me the perfect stage. 2 weeks later, he walked into the living room to find me sitting calmly with a folder on my lap. His mistress's face smiled back at him from printed photographs, her hand tangled in his hair, their hotel receipts clipped neatly at the corner. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I slid the folder across the table. "You'll want to look at this," I said. He flipped through it, his face draining of color, denial rising, then dying on his lips. "You'll hear from my lawyer tomorrow. Custody, the house, the accounts, you've already made your choices. Now you'll live with them." He laughed, a brittle sound. "You wouldn't dare." But the tremor in his voice betrayed him. What he didn't know was that I had already set everything in motion. My lawyer had filed the papers. The bank had frozen the joint account. His employer had received an anonymous tip about questionable expense reports. I didn't need to touch him. I just removed the supports he leaned on. And then came the phone calls. The first was from his mistress, furious that her name was now known to his employer. The second was from his mother, who had received copies of his credit card statements in the mail. The third was from his lawyer, explaining the terms of the divorce and how the evidence stacked against him. By the time the calls reached 57 in one day, his phone buzzed like a trapped insect. I sat in my chair, listening to the vibration on the counter, each call another crack in his carefully built mask. The confrontation wasn't loud. It was silent. He stood in the doorway, shoulders sagging, the weight of his ruin pressing down. "You've destroyed me," he whispered. I looked at him, steady, unflinching. "No, you destroyed yourself. I just turned on the light." He wanted anger from me, maybe even forgiveness. He got neither. What he received was something colder, cleaner, justice. Now the house is mine. My daughter sleeps soundly in the next room, unaware of how close she came to being weaponized against me forever. One day she'll know the truth, but for now, she is safe. David lives in a rented apartment across town, jobless, mistressless, reputation shredded. People cross the street when they see him. He drinks more than he eats. And I breathe freely for the first time in years. Mother's Day comes again soon. If another card appears, I'll read it aloud with a smile. Because now the message is different. I am no one's burden. I am the reckoning they never saw coming.